Hello there everyone, it is TIJ Gaming. Welcome back to the Football Manager 2022 beta. Today it's time for part 6 of Season 1 of the Burnley save. And today we go away to Southampton, who have just appointed Frank Lampard in the job. He played, well, he didn't play personally, but he managed his first match for Southampton earlier in the week. They got a win against Watford, and it's his second game against us today. So potentially, I think it is his first game at home. So, you know, pressure on him, but equally pressure on us to get our first good result in a while. More back to that in a second. And then we face Watford, funnily enough, just mentioned, in the relegation zone. We haven't had a result for a while, so it is a chance to get a victory. And as I've just alluded to, it's not been too great recently. It's not been too far since you guys last saw me for those 2 draws against Leicester and West Ham at home. 3 draws in 3 in games where we should have really got a win in one of them. And then we went away to Crystal Palace. And I said, didn't I, before the last episode finished, well, we should easily go and beat Palace. They haven't beat anyone all season. Yeah. We just didn't turn up. And I think that's been the problem for a little while now. We had a good run of form. You know, we got victories early in the season where we should have done. And then we've really flattered to deceive ever since, I think. Ever since we beat Arsenal, we've just not been the same side. You could say that maybe that battering at Liverpool has changed things, I'm not sure. But against Palace, we were woeful. We really were. We also lost to Chelsea in the FA Cup. Not a surprise. But I think these next 2 games are really big. Southampton and Watford. If we don't get anything out of those, I don't think we've got a cat in hell's chance of getting anything against the next 4 opponents after that. And then we're looking at what? You know, another 6 games played, 27 played, 29 points. It's not exactly looking too great then. So I think we need a victory or, you know, 2 victories today. Happy days. But, you know, looking at the sides that are below us, I mean, Tottenham and Leicester are sure to improve. If we don't get results today, we really would risk sort of being in 16th, I think, after that next run of 6 games. But let's see, I don't know. The transfer window, though, has opened. We have made one move, which we'll have a little bit of a chuckle about now. Christian Bielik has come in from Derby County, which we discussed in the last episode. We've sold Eric Peters. He's gone to AZ Alkmaar for 300,000. Again, you know, not a player that was playing. A bit of a boost to the transfer budget, which is woeful. Our transfer budget was 850,000. Admittedly, we blew most of it on Christian Bielik. Midfielder, solid player, quite happy with him. And then we get a news item the day before he's set to join. Damaged cruciate ligaments. Yeah, is that just our luck at the moment? He's out for the rest of the season. We'd already agreed to sign him. This was the day before he officially joined Burnley, and he's out for the rest of the year. Not exactly perfect. You can see our transfer budget now is pretty much nil. We're waiting for confirmation to actually sign Nathan Phillips officially. He is here on loan, but I thought, well, if we can get him signed, it allows us to sign another player on loan. Obviously, we've got Balogun in on loan at the moment, and Phillips. You can only have 2 players in at a time. So really, we could have done with that confirmation going through just to make sure we've got him and we could sign somebody else. You'll see that there's a couple of negotiations going on at the moment for players going out. Kevin Long, again, a player that's not used. Dale Stevens. You know, this is only really pittance, but it gets deals like Phillips across the line and possibly another player in as well. Yeah, James Tarkowski's possibly going to Newcastle. 10 million was the bid. It was 5 million actually first off. I thought, you know what? If they offer 10, I'll let you go. He is injured. He's just come back from injury and lacking in match sharpness. Of course, a bit of a Burnley stalwart, to be quite honest. But I think 10 million allows us to bring in another good centre-back. You know, maybe 2 or 3 players. And that's how we've got to look at things at this point. The frustrating thing is, I did ask the chairman, Alan Pace, for a bit more money. You know, for us to bring a couple of players in. Because we are really struggling for depth at the moment. And he said, no, I think what you've got is enough to get where we want to be. Which is fair enough. You know, they want us to fight bravely against relegation. With what we've done so far, we've done that. So why would they put any money in? The only infuriating thing is, for next season, the budget's 30 million, which almost seems a bit too much. But ho-hum, that's life. And this is what we're going to have to deal with, unless we offload a couple of players and get ourselves some transfer budget. But for this game today, we have gone back to basics. Before the match, I just cleared the team sheet, and I've picked the best 11 players, bar from 1 potentially, and I'll talk about that in a second, to try and get a result against Southampton. So Nick Pope starts in the net. We've got Connor Roberts, Nathan Phillips, Ben Mee and Taylor at the back. Brownhill is back from injury. He's going to be so important. Our 2 wingers are really our 2 most important players, I would argue. Jack Cork and Bellegarde in the midfield. Chris Wood starts up front, and Rob Harker makes his debut for Burnley. Now, this is a big risk. Really shouldn't be anywhere near the first team. But what I like about that, looking at the stats again, he is set as a poacher. If you look at them key attributes, alright, they're not brilliant, but they're not terrible either. He's played for the under-23. He's got 6 goals this year. I think it's the under-23s. I hope it is and not the under-18s. Where can I find that form? Doesn't really say much, though. He did actually play for us for 10 minutes against Newcastle. Yeah, Burnley, under-23s. There we go. Yeah, so it's the under-23s he's been playing for. 9 appearances, average rating 7.23. I know, of course, it's a big leap from under-23s football to Premier League football. I get that. But unfortunately, Matic Vidra's out. And to be brutally honest, Jay Rodriguez and Ashley Barnes, when they've been in that position, they've done nothing. Maybe a little bit of fight, a little bit of hunger from a youngster is exactly what we need. Who knows? But Southampton are going to be tricky. I think particularly now that Frank Lampard's coming as the new manager. They've got a strong squad. Maybe, not as strong as I've just said, but they've got a decent squad. I think their squad is a Premier League squad. I think that's exactly right. We're all sick and tired of getting bad results. Just get out there and, go and do something and get a result. But I think that this just proves how big our early season form was. Really was. To have 29 points on the table at this point is a great achievement for a club that really should be down in that sort of Norwich-Watford area. It could have even been worse. We could have been where Palace are. But we played some good football. We battered Norwich 4-0. We've got some good results. We've beaten Arsenal, in a result we wouldn't expect. We've got a point against Man City, a point against Everton. We've had some really good results so far this year. And of course it was going to come to a point where we're going to start struggling. That's inevitable. But really, some of that you can help yourself. Sometimes you just haven't got the squad. Sometimes the players can just play a little bit better. And that just felt like we were carved open far too much. Smallbone puts it through to Adams. Alright, it's 1-on-1 with the keeper, but let's be honest, it's not the best shot in the world. Nick Pope maybe should be doing something a little bit better there. This maybe isn't the match that we look to get a result. It would be great. I think a point would be good. 3 points would be the icing on top of the cake. Brownhill into me, back to Dwight McNeil. Just too many players in there to make anything of it. And the Southampton free kick in the end, which isn't the way we wanted it to go. But obviously that match against Watford at home, they are in theory similar level opponents. We have to go and get a result there. Although we've not been too bad here. We've had the majority of the possession at 54%. Hopefully we can make that count with something, even though it doesn't look like it at the moment. Che Adams' potential chance there. Stuart Armstrong, yeah, that's the kind of thing we're up against at the moment. Unfortunately, we know that we're not the type of squad that scores too often, but I think we are the type of squad that prides ourselves on being defensively sound, and that's not happening at the moment. Ben Mee puts it out. It's just too easy. I don't know what Nick Pope's doing there as a bit of a dance, but there you go. But yeah, we just haven't offered anything at the moment. And that, I think, is the real concern. Surely we can't go free down here. A good challenge from Charlie Taylor. Good to see him giving it a try. But, Rob Harker can't do it all by himself, for goodness sake. Probably the last man you'd want that to fall to. But in terms of attacking options, we haven't really got them at the moment. And Adam Armstrong is going to make it 3-0 here. This has been a disaster. And just really sums up our recent form. We need somewhat of a change. Whether that's tactical, whether it's players, I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully they're not calling for the manager's head just yet. But, I'm going to say you were terrible, to be brutally honest. I think what we do is we try and attack a little bit more. We try and, we're clearly not defending very well, so let's just try and attack a little bit better. We're going to be positive. We're going to try and be a bit more direct, pass it into space, hit early crosses, and pretty much just go with the mentality, well, you know what, it can't really get much worse. So let's try and make a go of this football match. Try and fire the players up and see what happens. At 3-0, it's pretty much over. I guess I half expected this. The problem is you walk into every match now being pessimistic. Whereas, I think earlier in the season, we could have given Southampton a good match. However, for the first 20 minutes of the second half, it doesn't look like that team talk did a fat lot for us. Brozier, on the wing, puts it to Romeo. This doesn't look good. El-Yanissi, Brozier, good save from Nick Pope. That's not too bad. I mean, for Ben Mee to have a 7.1, clearly he's a player that's playing decently for us. Our problem now comes when we look at the squad, we go, who can come on and change this match? And truthfully, I don't really think there is anyone. Not that he's played badly today, but I don't think the Rob Harker experiment has worked. We'll bring Ashley Barnes onto him, and he can play as a deep line forward. Again, the two wingers are tied, so we're going to bring Jay Rodriguez on the right. Aaron Goodmanson on the left, actually switch those up. Apparently, though, Rodriguez and Goodmanson both left better on the right and left. Would have thought that would have been the opposite way around, actually, but you live and you learn. I mean, Brentford 5-1 up at Palace. You know, that's a Palace side that beat us 3-0. You know, just let that sink in a little bit. Walcott on the ball. We're not going to get anything out of this match. It is all over. Walcott into the area for Armstrong. Armstrong's not there, but I think if he would have been, he'd have probably beaten us. And I think that against a top quality side, we'll get absolutely murdered at the moment. Southampton, not a bad side, but they are beating us 4-0. It's a nice way for Lampard to go into the job, but not the way we want to play. We're not scoring goals, which again, we never do much. But equally, we're conceding too many. Nice to see Ashley Barnes getting one in there. In fact, we try and push forward a bit. Let's try and get this back to 4-2 or even 4-3. Just something that resembles a respectable result rather than, you know, a mediocre one, really. You know, we could go even worse than that. An absolutely abysmal result. But Southampton have had by far the better chances. You know, that they've made the game. But I think that looking at our stats, 10 shots, 4 on target. In some games, you could say we could have scored 2, even 3 at that. Who knows? But we are going to try and make a go of this. Try and make this into a result that shows we have some fight and just don't take this line down. Bellegarde, Chris Wood, Barnes. Come on, that's good space there. Out to Goodmanson. He's 1-on with the keeper. And does that just about sum up the way we're playing at the moment? Beats the keeper, but off the post. But again, somewhat more encouraging than we were, I guess you could say, in the first half. Couple of minutes to go then here at St Mary's. Bellegarde, Ben Mee puts the ball up to Chris Wood. Wood to Barnes. Barnes to Rodriguez. Goodmanson. Wood. Barnes. Goodmanson. Saved by the keeper. But again, good move. Good attacking move. Just a shame it's took us till the 90th minute to really show it. Connor Roberts into the area. Can we get a second? No, we can't. Jack Cork puts it wide. But again, we're making more chances. And because they're on highlights, conceivably better chances. But once again, I don't like what I saw from the team. It was poor. And, you know, ultimately, we're going to have to be better than that against Watford to get a result. Alright, don't look at me like that. He's gone. 10 million for James Tarkowski. I don't know why I keep saying Tarkowski. It's Tarkowski. Yeah, he's gone for 10 million. Bit of a shame. We have got a defender that's on the radar to bring in. But of course, that allowed us to bring Nathan Phillips in for 70k, which is an absolute steal. Kevin Long's also gone to Nottingham Forest for 1.5 million. The player that we are looking at is Chris Mepham from Bournemouth. 5.75 million is the price. According to all this lot, you know, he'll be on half the wages of Tarkowski. And, you know, 4-star player. He looks like he could be a very, very good player for us, but not quite signed yet, so me and Phillips start for us today. Nick Pope starts with Loughton, Phillips, me and Taylor. I think it's the same squad as that played Southampton, which is a little bit of a worry, I suppose. Matt Loughton comes in for, I think it's Connor Phillips, isn't it, who's got, Connor Roberts, sorry, who's got a suspension. And because the Rob Harker experiment didn't work, we've got Ashley Barnes in. But Watford are without a manager. They're in the relegation zone, so you'll notice we have absolutely gone for it. You know, we're attacking. We've gone for it today. We want to score goals. Watford look like a side that are going to be a bit bereft. We said that about Palace, but I think that's the way to go today. I think we need a couple of goals just to, you know, to get us going a little bit. Yeah, exactly. A few more goals and, you know, you'll be in a better position. Ultimately, you know, the lads have got the crowd behind them. We just want a bit of a boost today. Of course, this could go dramatically wrong and we get battered by Watford. And I'll start scratching my head of what more can I do? You know, if we can't beat clubs that are in the relegation zone without a manager, it comes down to a very small list of sides we can beat. Loughton goes nowhere. This is worrying an early highlight. I don't like it. But we have got the ball back, which is nice and settling. Bellegarde, Ben Mee back to the keeper. Just don't lose possession stupidly. Nick Pope hoofs the ball out. Where's it going to end up? It's going to end up in Dwight McNeil, who's 1-1 with the keeper. Shoots, and it's in for an early goal. Nice assist from the end from Nick Pope. I was just about to say, well, Nick Pope might lose the ball. But no, it's a lovely ball from Nick Pope. It gives us an early goal, and it is the first time in a while, I think, I would say that we are in the lead of a football match. And that's a great position to be in, and long may it continue. Again, wasn't a good result against Southampton, but 3 points here really would give us what we need. Another 3 points towards surviving, that magical 40-point mark. All of a sudden means that we only have to win 1 game in 5, for the rest of the year to stay up, and I think that's exactly what we can do. Even though, it might be tricky if you look at the sides we've got left to play, and particularly the run of form that's going to come after this match. It's going to be tricky. But again, 3 points today might just give us a boost and think, well, we can win a football match. If we went and lost this one and lost the next 4, it'd be something like 12 without a win, which would be an absolutely miserly record. Jack Cork, Bellegarde. What can Bellegarde do from here? It's not been a bad signing for us, has he? But, he's not been magic, I guess. Brownhill back into McNeil. That should be a goal. It's going to be investigated for offside, but I can't see why it would be. I'll tell you what would be interesting. Liverpool are apparently after... Yeah, fine, 2-0. Liverpool are apparently after Dwight McNeil for a sum of about 50 million. Not made a bid yet, but there's a bit of a rumour going round. Now, he's a good player, but if he went for 50 million, I guess it's like the Jack Grealish effect, I suppose. What could we do with all that money? Matt Loughton. Josh Brownhill. Loughton again. Not quite. Tell you what, not getting too cocky too soon. We could very much, as a Liverpool fan, be in that Atletico Madrid situation where we're good 2-0 up, think it's game over, and then they go and score 2 very quickly. But if we can get a comprehensive victory today, it doesn't half elf the goal difference that's been battered a bit recently by a few bruisings, particularly that one obviously against Southampton, then the defeat against Liverpool. Again, apart from beating Norwich 4-0, I don't think we've scored more than 2 goals all year. Maybe up to now. Ben Mee plays an interesting ball on the left-hand side of the pitch. Not quite sure what to call that, but it didn't quite meet the player that it wanted to. Josh King now on the ball for Watford after we give the ball away through. That interesting pass. King through to Cucho, and it's 2-1. Again, I don't think that one's offside either. Cucho Hernandez are appealing for offside. Is it going to be given? Yeah, it's given. I don't see a problem with that. Maybe with VAR now in game, the players just going to take the mick a little bit. I'm going to go back to positive rather than attacking. It's done what we wanted it to do. We've got a 2-1 lead. Nearly make that 3-1. Only the keeper really denying us there. I think the keeper did get a touch on that, which pushed it onto the post rather than one forcing the other. It's a scary position to be in leading a football match, particularly when you're not in form. A win would do so much just to give us a boost. I'm happy with Nat Phillips coming in, though. That is an absolute steal from Liverpool. If we were let him go for that much in real life, I'd be horrified. Bellegarde through to Chris Wood. He doesn't score many goals in open play, apart from obviously the headers, but he doesn't score with his foot too much, but that very nearly made it 1 there. McNeil obviously both the goals so far. Ashley Barnes, has he got a chance to make it 3? Shoots just wide. This could be 4 or 5 if we, made our finishing a bit better, but it's exactly what we want to see. It's a side we should be taking advantage against, and we are at the moment. Again, another chance. Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes, surely take this one. Good save, though, from Daniel Bachmann. Barnes back in again to Brownhill. It's 3-1 Burnley. We got 2 goal advantage at half-time. It looks like that's exactly what we wanted. We are going to enter a form that's going to be tricky now. Of course it's going to be tricky. And just getting this victory on the board, can just say, well, we've only lost because they're opponents that have got far more money than us. We couldn't even get together 70 grand to sign Nat Phillips a week ago, which is frankly a bit ridiculous. But, 2-goal lead, yeah, it's a nice cushion, but it's not perfect because, well commentated there. I had a sneaking suspicion that was going to happen. And Watford have scored. Obviously, we've been conceding a lot anyway, but when you do play with a little bit more attacking vigour, it does open you up a little bit more at the back. Brownhill into the area, now 4-2. To crown Nat Phillips coming into the club, he scores his first ever goal for Burnley. He's got a yellow card, but he scored a goal. The goal's way more than the yellow card for me. And we've scored 4. That's great. Shows we can score goals. But equally, leave ourselves open at the back. It's not the Burnley way, but if it's the way we're going to win this football match, then so be it. I think we have to, in games like this, particularly at the moment, go with the, well, we'll score more than you attitude, and just hope that hope that Watford don't score 4. Barnes. No, that's poor. I'm tempting fate a little bit here, but surely you would think that at this point, we can't lose this football match, for goodness sake. We've got a lot of tired legs out there. We're going to bring Rodriguez on for Chris Wood, who's not had the best day, to be quite honest. We'll bring Josh Brownhill off again. He's still recovering, really, from that injury. And I'm not going to make it 3 substitutions, because if we go down to 10 men, a 2-goal lead all of a sudden isn't all that big. Looks like Chelsea are going to see a bit of a shock, though. They're going to be beaten by Newcastle. Villa back in it at Old Trafford. It's 2-1 there. Chelsea are coming back into it now, but with 5 minutes to go, it looks like we've got this victory all nailed on, unless there is a last-minute twist. We're going to bring McNeil off. He's had a very... Actually, no, we're going to bring Phillips off. He's had a good day. Bring Nathan Collins on for him, just to shore us up at the back. I can cope with McNeil being a little bit tired. Charlie Taylor, through to Rodriguez. Rodriguez, surely he's through. He scores. That's 5 for Burnley. That's the most we've scored all year. Oh, I'm glad about that. I think that, if we didn't win today, I would be completely out of ideas. Southampton, I can take. We were sore from some real batterings, but to go and concede 10 in the space of 4 matches and score 1 or 2 against Southampton. I can't remember. I think it was 1, wasn't it? Not 2. Scored 1, conceded 10, and that's exactly the sort of result we wanted. We put 5 past Watford, our first win in a while. Really good stuff. Really good stuff there. Watford have been in poor form. Equally, we have been as well. So somebody has got to beat somebody. There you go. 6 matches without winning before that one. Yeah, 4-1 against Southampton. And obviously the other match there being 7 with the Chelsea match. But yeah, good stuff. 32 points that puts us up to. It just gives us a bit of a cushion against this sort of Leicester, West Ham, Brighton area. The fact Tottenham are down in 17th is unbelievable. That's crazy. If you look at the schedule, though, of when we're going to come back, I think it's going to be a while now, to be honest. If you look, we've got 4 games in Feb where it ain't going to get too well for us, I don't think. I think we'll probably come back maybe for Norwich and the Villa. 2 tough away games, but maybe something we can get something out of. I think we'll come back for those in a month's time. If you guys have enjoyed that, though, make sure to leave a thumbs up. I certainly enjoyed the second game far more than the first. But yeah, if you enjoyed that, leave a thumbs up down below. Comment your thoughts as well. And I'll see you guys on Saturday, part number 7. Goodbye for now.